Shalom uvracha from Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. Thank you so much for joining with us. We are studying tonight in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of the Fathers, Chapter 2, Mishnah 21. In the editions that we've been using, tonight's Mishnah, the teacher is the same teacher, the same Rav, the same Tana that we studied about last class from Mishnah 20. In Mishnah Kaf, we studied the teaching of Rabbi Tarfon. And tonight, Rabbi Tarfon continues to expound upon the same idea about how a person should be diligent in trying to carry out his or her role and aspiration to reach the level of the highest levels of success in life. Last week we spoke about how the day is so short, but there's so much to do. And tonight Rabbi Tarfon continues the teaching. I'm reading the words begin, if you're following in a different version with different numbering system, the Mishnah begins with the words, Hu Haya Omer. Perek Bet, Mishnah Kafal. Hu Haya Omer. Rabbi Tarfon would often say, according to certain interpretations, it means Rabbi Tarfon, of course, said many, many hundreds of thousands of things, but this was a teaching that he often repeated. Waya Omer. Very often, he would continuously teach others around him the following teaching. If you've ever had the privilege of studying under the tutelage of a great person, a great Rav, a great Rabbanit, a great Mechanech or Mechanechet, there are certain things they're always saying. Huaya Omer. There are certain teachings that many variations on the same theme, but they're often teaching the same teaching. Rabbi Tarfon often said, my father of blessed memory, he always would, when he was teaching Pirkei Avot, my Abba would always emphasize, I don't know who said this teaching first, but I heard it from him so many times. It wasn't his original idea. But he said that the words Hu Haya Omer can be understood to mean who he was, Haya Omer. Well, what a privilege to sneeze on YouTube. It's like not at all contagious, and I apologize if it disturbs anyone's view of the study. The Gemara talks about sneezing in the middle of praying. It doesn't talk about that, I don't think. It speaks about how you shouldn't stop your studies in Beit Midrash and wish each other, asuta or something, because maybe it's not proper. Anyway, Hu Haya Omer, said my Appa, he was what he said. He was what he said. Hu Haya Omer. Many people, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. They're beautiful teachings, but if you view their life, they're not carrying it out. Hu Haya Omer. He was what he said. Lo alecha hamlaacha legmor, v'lo ata ben chorin lehibbatel mimena. You're not required to finish everything, even though we learned earlier in last week's Mishnah, hamlaacha merubah. There's so much to do. And people are so discouraged because Hayom Katzar, it's a short day. It's a short work day. How much can you accomplish in one day's work? So Rabbi Tarfon perhaps calms down those people who are so agitated and so nervous about how will I get everything accomplished? So you won't get everything accomplished. You won't get Lo alecha hamelacha legmor. Even if you live with the help of God, the life of Methuselah, you live 969 years. There still will be aspects, probably, unless we merit Bezrat Hashem, Tikkun Olam, Mashiach, Geula. Generally speaking, most people in the world who have lived, they didn't finish everything there is to be done in this world. There were still many tasks that had to be carried out by their descendants. So don't get overwhelmed just because there's so much to do. Do your best. Lo alecha hamelacha legmor. Let's say there are, 14 million Jews in the world. And I'm sure you want to impact at least 14 million Jews in the world. Let's say you can't reach all 14 million. You can reach some of the Jews. You can help to educate. You can help to bring closer to Am Yisrael, to Eretz Yisrael, to Elokei Yisrael. You can bring many of them back. How many? I don't know. Lo alecha hamelacha legmor. You don't have to complete the task. But v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. You can't just say, well, I can't do everything, therefore I'll do nothing. That's the error, and that's the often the downfall of so many people, because it's an either or kind of feeling. Either I'll maximize everything, I'll accomplish everything, or if I'm not going to be able to finish it anyway, what's the purpose? And those of us who are privileged to know something about partial grades, partial credit, even if you can't make, $100 million, let's say, if you make $77 million, that's not so bad, right? Okay, so you want to give up everything? So let's say the whole picture. I'm sorry to quantify it in terms of money. Of course, it's beyond low yishvuba kol chafatzecha low yishvuba. We can't talk about a number value. You can't talk about a dollar value for Torah. But let's say you can't make the highest number, so you can't make partial number. So even if the highest number is $100 million, you'll only make $77 million, or $100,000 even, and $77,000. There's partial credit. I think that's what it means. Some people, if they can't do a mitzvah in its highest form, in its most perfected form, they don't even want to try to do the mitzvah. Do your best. Lo alecha hamelacha legmor, even if it does not reach the level of perfection. But v'lo ata ben chorin libatel mimena. Just merely because you cannot complete it, does not provide you with an exemption. Does not say, therefore, I won't at all toil in this area. This is in the area of mitzvot and ma'asim tovim, the area of chesed, the area of tzedakah, how we all wish that we could make every person in the world self-sufficient, how we could remove poverty from the entire world, from all of humanity, and especially from the Jewish people. We'd love to finish that. Let's say you can't. Is there one person that maybe you could assist? Is there one person that you could take out of his or her suffering? So don't give up merely because you cannot complete the task. Or let's say in terms of learning, that's how many people understand our Mishnah. There are so many people, they walk into a Beit Midrash, and this is what it says in the Midrash, in Shir HaShirim. Shir HaShirim, Rabbah says, two different people walk into the Beit Midrash, and one walks in and says, oh, look at this, all these laws, all these teachings, so many tractates. I'll never master it. I'll never be able to do it. 30 sections in Nizikin, 10 in Bavak, 10 chapters Bava Kama, 10 chapters Bava Metzia, 10 chapters Bava Batra. How am I going to do it? I'll never be able to master it. So forget it. He closes the book, or he leaves the study hall, and that's the end of his studying career. That's not the approach. Lo alecha hamelacha legmor. Let's even say you can't master all the texts. Although maybe little by little, maybe you can. But even if you can't, so whatever you do, can you read one paragraph? Can you read one paragraph? I believe it was Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zichrono Livracha, one of the greatest Rabbanim of our generation, who encouraged a person who studied one page of Talmud. One page of Talmud. I think it was his first page of Talmud, and he mastered it. He wanted him to have a ceremony, a completion ceremony. Generally, the completion ceremony is a whole seder of Mishnayot, or a whole masechta of Talmud or something, a whole book of Tanakh. This man finished one page. And I think Rav Moshe, in order to encourage this person, yes, your study is very significant. It's very significant. You finished a page. That's great. One page. You know how many pages there are in Talmud? And maybe a cynic would say, one page. How much does this person know? Lo alecha hamelacha legmor. and sometimes part of infinity is also infinity. We have a great mathematician sitting here, right? Lo alecha hamalacha legmor, v'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena. Do not feel that you're free to withdraw yourself from this task. Im lamadata Torah harbe, if indeed you studied a great deal of Torah, notnim lecha sachar harbe, you'll receive a great deal of reward, even if you don't finish it. What does harbe mean? Well, to you, maybe it means many, many tractates, many, many books, many, many sections. And maybe to Rav Moshe Feinstein's student, it means one page. That's Torah harbe. You know how long it took him to master that one page? You know how many people there are in the world who cannot say that they really know one page of Talmud well, from the beginning to the end, and have reviewed it to the point where they can explain it and analyze it and discuss it? So, im lamadta Torah harbe, notenim lecha sachar harbe. You will receive great reward. It's not either yes or no. Did you finish? Did you complete the entire Tanakh? So you didn't complete the entire Tanakh. Therefore, you're not reading Tanakh. Tanakh, the greatest work of our nation, the greatest book ever written. There's no second. The #1 international bestseller. Printed more times than any other work in the world, translated more times than any other work. And there were some Jews that never read the whole Tanakh. So you say, well, I can't read the whole Tanakh. 900 and something, I can't read so many chapters. Okay, you can't read 900. Could you read 600? Could you read 500 chapters? Could you read 100? Read something. And maybe that's lamadta Torah harbe, notanim lecha sachar harbe. There are many people who don't understand this great notion of trying to accomplish something. In the Torah, in the book of Devarim, Rav Shvadron, Zechrono Livracha, one of the great Rabbanim, one of the great Magidim, one of the great Darshanim here in Yerushalayim, he used to often say the following. He used to say that in the section of the Torah where the Torah speaks about someone who was trying to convince someone else to worship idols, it's called the Mesit. Mesit, trying to persuade him. Remember the section of Mesit Umadiah, trying to convince someone to connect to idolatry. And it's a very, very serious crime. And the Torah, the punishment, the capital punishment that's recorded in the Torah is the harshest, according to most opinions. Uskalto va'avanim v'amet. That person is put to death. What did he do? He didn't convince you to worship idols. You stood up against the temptation. And I quote, Ki bikesh lahadihacha me'al Hashem Elokecha. He tried to remove you from your connection with the Lord your God. Bikesh? He tried, he attempted. So Rav Shvadron quoted the teaching, I believe, of Rav Simcha Zissel of Kelm, who said as follows. He said, if God punishes, if the Torah mandates such a serious punishment for someone who tried to do something which is the opposite of good, did not accomplish it, and nevertheless, since they tried, they're punished so severely. Could you imagine the great level of reward that's given to someone who tries to do something good? Unfortunately, doesn't accomplish it all. We have a tradition that the positive reward is 500 times greater than any level of punishment. So however you can imagine 500 levels of sachar. Kibikesh, you tried to do the work. You tried to accomplish. You tried to go to the malakha that's in front of you in this world. And you didn't succeed. God will reward you nevertheless. And I read on these words here, Im lamadta Torah harbe, notnim lecha, excuse me, Im lamadta Torah harbe, notnim lecha sachar harbe, you will receive great reward. V'ne'emanu ba'al melachtecha, she'yishalem lecha schar pe'ulatecha. You will receive the reward of your labor. So there's a teaching. One of the one of the prayers that's said at a completion ceremony, based on a Talmudic teaching, is we contrast those who study Torah, those who labor in Torah, to those who do not. And the quotation is something along the following lines: Anu amelim vehem amelim. We toil and they toil. We work and they work. Anu amelim umikabelim sachar. We toil and we receive reward. Vehem amelim, and they work in their fields. Veinam mikabelim sachar, and they do not receive reward. So I heard this teaching many, many times in the names of all kinds of different rabbis, maybe more times than others in the name of Rav Yisrael HaKohen Kagan, the author of the Chafetz Chaim. He said, what do you mean, Hey Mami Livena Mekabalim Sachar? Everybody receives Sachar. Anybody who works in any field is paid for their job. They receive reward. Everybody receives wages. Everybody receives a salary. What do you mean, Hey Mami Livena Mekabalim Sachar? And he said, well, they receive reward if they succeeded in the complete product, in the complete project. If I take someone as a carpenter to build me a closet, and he worked and worked and he built most of the closet, is there anyone in the world who will pay him for the closet, who will pay him for his work? And then he comes and says, I put in 27 and a half hours of work. Look. He said, what are you talking about? I paid you for a closet. Where's the closet? Or you pay an artist for a certain kind of portrait, and you have part of the portrait, or you have most of the parts of the air conditioning unit that he was supposed to rebuild for you. Nobody pays in those cases, but we anu amelim umekabalim sachar, the same word that's used in our Mishnah. Shishem shalim lecha sachar pu'ulatecha. Notenim lecha sachar harbe. Anu amelim umekabalim sachar. We receive reward from God for even trying, for the efforts, for the energy, for the process, not just for the result. Therefore, lamarata Torah harbe, if you understand lamarata Torah harbe, notnim lecha sachar harbe, you'll receive a great deal of reward, even if you don't. Let's say you study a section and you don't reach the highest level of a clear conclusion. Ne'emanu ba'al malachtecha, ba'al malachtecha, your employer can be relied upon. Your employer is ever so trustworthy. Sheishalem lecha sachar pu'ulatecha v'da shematan scharan shel tzadikim la'atid lava. Although everyone would love to see the reward today, or tonight, or tomorrow, there are many great dividends. There are many great rewards that a person receives in this world. But schar mitzvah b'hai alama leka, the major portion of the reward is for the world to come. We bless everyone that they should receive that great reward. They should continue to toil in the proper areas of serving God. And ne'emanhu ba'al malachtecha, trust in God, and you will receive that reward. May you have the proper impact upon the whole world and through your efforts in trying to accomplish this great accomplishment, even if you don't succeed in everything, even if you don't finish. Kadosh Baruch Hu will shine upon you and shower you with all of the blessings. Thank you so much for listening. Shalom.
Amen.